What are some tips for someone with no fighting experience to win in a fight? Footwork is important. Stand so that a punch won't knock you over. Don't lean into a punch. Also know what advantage you have over your opponent. If he's bigger than you, try to move to the side or behind him. Moving's harder for him, so make him move. If he's taller, get in close so his reach advantage is taken away. If he's lactose intolerant, throw milk at him. Never use haymakers, hooks, and football kicks. They're fucking stupid and will get you beat real fast. The trick is straight punches using your hip to throw your arm a bit more. Try to get in close so the aforementioned kicks and haymakers won't be able to get enough power in. Keep your hands up. If you have to dodge, go sideways instead of back so you keep the distance advantage. But either way, don't get in a fight in the first place. This is the advice you want to listen to right here. Don't try to emulate Mike Tyson and end the fight with one haymaker, you'll fail. Keep it simple. A straight jab to the nose will make your opponent's eyes tear up and can tip the scales in your favor. If they've got their hands down, angled slightly and sort of looking away but keeping you in the corner of their eye, they're lining up for a sucker punch. Also, if you're almost in a fight and the person starts suddenly trying to get you to shake their hand, they are trying to get it so they can pull you in and punch. Now that's just bad sportsmanship. The eyes are the groin of the face. Thanks, Dwight. Bart, remember when Tom had you in that headlock and you screamed, "I'm a hemophiliac," and when he let you go, you kicked him in the back? Homer, yeah. Bart, will you teach me how to do that? Homer, sure, boy. First, you gotta shriek like a woman and keep sobbing until he turns away in disgust. That's when it's time to kick some back. And then when he's lying down on the ground. Bart, yeah? Homer, kick him in the ribs. Bart, yeah? Homer, step on his neck. Bart, yeah? Homer, and run like hell. If you aren't in a sanctioned sports competition, there is no such thing as dirty. Most people exhaust quickly in a fight, and you don't want to run the risk that your opponent can last longer than you. Fight quick, fight dirty, and try to finish in 5 to 10 seconds since you honestly have 30 max. If there's no way to avoid it, try to keep a low center of balance, and make sure to keep your feet on the ground. Don't kick or anything. Once you lose your balance and you're on the ground, it's over. Aim for the nose. Most people will stop right there if you get them in the nose. The advice I've gotten is to put the heel of your palm to their nose. I've also heard that can kill someone though. That's a myth. The cartilage is too soft. The force required to detach the nose and send it up into the brain like a dagger would crumple it instead. I suppose that might be hard to do in a fight. Still, my personal experience is that a hard, upward impact to the nose can be pretty dangerous. I was in a construction accident and, as far as I know, broke no other bones in my face, but my nose was broken badly enough that arteries were severed. I nearly bled to death, and they had to remove an eye from its socket so they could get into my sinuses and tie the arteries off. Disclaimer: I know nothing about fighting. Remember, there are no rules in a fight. The only fair fight is a fight you lose. Yup, if you are getting jumped, there are no rules. Go for the balls. Your safety is more important than any stupid rules. I had a friend in high school that thought he could win any fight if he went for the balls. Well, he got in a fight and went for the balls. Except, the other dude was jacked on adrenaline and beat the shit out of him anyways. Practice spitting in your free time. A sharp projectile of spit in the opponent's eyes compromises his vision. Spitting in his mouth will also invoke his gat reflex, which distracts him and makes him more vulnerable. Llama Tactics 101. I think the biggest problem for people with no experience is that they have no experience with inflicting harm and thus instinctively only hit symbolically. I once had to disassemble an old cupboard, and I kept kicking at it, and it wouldn't go down. When I realized my kicks were afraid of doing damage or hurting myself, and I have to commit and go all in and try to kick through the boards, that's when I immediately got the thing collapsing. Though before you pick up a beer bottle or other improvised weapon, remember there might be some rules that come into play in the aftermath of a fight, e.g. manslaughter. 1. Protect your head. 2. Fight dirty. 3. Protect your head. 4. At the first chance to disengage, take it. 5. Protect your fucking head. 6. Get the first punch in, and keep pushing your fist after it makes contact. 7. Protect your motherfucking head. 8. Tuck your chin. 9. Distract, sucker punch. Are you really going to try and fight me with a cop car right there? 10. Protect your goddamned head, idiot. Hands way up. Head trauma is no joke. Protect your head. Just to add on, if you have no fight training, the best stance to block against punches is hands on top of your forehead near your temples so you don't block your eyesight. Elbows out. Punch coming from the side? Throw that elbow out. They may connect with it and break their hand or at the least deflect the brunt of the attack away from your ear jaw. Punch coming from straight ahead, close up those arms. Again, the punch could connect with your elbow, or at the very least, protect your nose eyes. Obviously, this will only work for a few attacks before they start going for other body parts or kicking, but the point is to defend yourself long enough to get out of the situation. If you have to fight back, this is also a really good stance for landing straight jabs. Go for the sensitive soft spots. Eyes, ears, nose, throat, solar plex, groin, armpits, and frontal part of the elbow. Oh, and don't assume you know how to throw a punch. You'll get boxer's fractures. Edit. These are just sensitive points on the body and not necessarily points where you should strike an opponent. Armpits are sensitive because they contain nerves, blood vessels, and lymph nodes. Try pinching that area or gouging your thumb or a pointy object into it. The cubital fossa, frontal part of the elbow, is also sensitive and has thin skin. Eyes are great for gouging as well. Don't assume fights are won solely by striking or grappling your opponent. Also, some of these are only something you should do when you're trying to protect your life. Don't attack someone's throat in a normal scuffle. I've seen tough guys shatter wrists and fingers because they thought they were hot shit and punched a bag poorly. Go with slaps if you don't know how to throw a punch. They hurt just as much and won't hurt you as badly. Throw sand in your opponent's face. Don't whip out 4 lightsabers and start twirling them in circles. Get naked. Pro tip: naked with shoes is somehow more naked than full naked. I took a YMCA self-defense class once. The gist of the class was: 1. Avoid fights. Don't be a macho man. 2. Run away if you have to. 3. If it becomes physical, be very loud to draw attention. 4. Your goal in self-defense is to buy time to escape the area. A kick to the groin or palm strike to the nose, eyes, or chin are very effective. 3 is critical. Shout Allahu Akbar at the top of your lungs. I'm Muslim and I'll damn well appropriate some Islamophobia to my benefit. And it'll probably give me +5 intimidation and +2 psycho power. I'd worry about being considered a terrorist by bystanders and either set on fire and banjoed or shot by the police. Just generally making people think you're crazy works wonders. I got out of being jumped by a bunch of guys by pretending to be obsessed by the correct position of a chair. I know a few other people who've done the similar things and it's worked. The best story was a guy was being mugged by some people, one of them with a knife. He shouted, "Spiders, spiders all over me, crawling everywhere. Help me," and they left him alone. Don't bring a knife to a gunfight. Statistically, within 20 feet or so, other way around. MYTHB Busters even did an episode on it. Bring a knife and a gun. The leg of your dominant hand 6 inches back, feet shoulder length apart, hands held with knuckles touching your cheeks and elbows in. That's your stance. Don't lift your feet, but pivot them 45 degrees when you throw a punch, same foot as the hand you're throwing. You want to feel the entire side of your body that's throwing pivot. This is where a majority of a punch's power comes from. After each punch, return your knuckles to your cheek before throwing the next. While throwing a punch, focus on keeping your wrist straight like your forearm is a metal pole. Don't do this, your wrist is broken. Stay tight. Someone dives in for a takedown, shoot your legs back and put your weight on them. Throw elbows any and all opportunities. Go for the nuts and eyes. Scratch, bite, pull hair. You punch through something. If you want to punch a guy in the stomach, you try to punch behind his stomach. If you were to aim for his stomach, you won't hit it very hard. Always overestimate your opponent. Believing your enemy is stronger than you keeps you on your toes. As an experienced fighter, I would say that all the tips for someone with no fighting experience are like tips for someone with no experience in being a lawyer. Sure, You can kinda get around some situations that aren't that serious with faking confidence or doing one simple move that often works in easy cases. But ultimately, I would prefer not giving any advice at all to avoid creating a wrong sense of competence that might end up doing more harm than it's worth. Run. Being in a fight is extremely dumb and risky. It should be avoided at all costs, even if you are trained. Edit or de-escalate. Again, fighting is dumb, and I say that as a guy who has been boxing for 7 years at this point. Edit 2. Let's be more specific. You should never be trying to win a fight outside an organized sport competition. You should be trying to avoid it, and if inevitable, to disengage from it and get to safety. Voluntarily going into a fight with the intent to win is dumb and reckless. It is extremely easy to sustain or cause a lingering injury or death in combat. The kind of guy who seek fights with strangers tend to be armed or have a bunch of friends ready to curb stomp you. If you want to protect yourself, there is no quick tip. Go get actual training. I guarantee you they will repeat this very advice too. My old Aikido instructor had a saying he always told his classes. He said, "Don't go places where people hit you." In the context of teaching us Aikido, he meant to position your body in a way that makes it difficult or impossible for an attacker to strike you. However, at the end of class, he would often give a short lecture about how the concept can also be applied to one's life. The way he boiled it down was that fighting is an expression of powerless rage. It is a symptom of poor decision-making in tragic circumstances. People leading thoughtful, productive, and fulfilling lives are not getting in fights. They are not overly concerned with personal safety as a day-to-day worry. If you find yourself in a situation where you are regularly concerned for your safety, any type of self-defense technique you learn is only going to be a band-aid trying to cover up a larger problem. Rather than worry about how you are going to win the next fight, you need to worry about how you are going to change your life so that there won't be a next fight. Take another route home from school. Stop hanging out with people who get you in trouble. Stop going to bars or clubs if you keep getting in fights. Or maybe keep going, but don't drink so much. Try to eat healthier. Get some exercise. Get more sleep. Drink more water. Give your mind and body the tools to make good decisions. How is work? Are you getting enough hours? Are you making enough money? Do you need to go back to school? If you've got time for fighting, you've got time for learning. Of course, everyone has circumstances beyond their control. It is a lot easier to comment on Reddit about improving one's life than it is to actually do it. But the point he was trying to make is that you should not accept that you are powerless to make your own decisions about your own life and safety. A good decision you make today, no matter how small, can have consequences that affect your entire life. And that goes double for a bad decision. Even one fight can fuck up or even end your life. So start avoiding that fight today by making good decisions for yourself and your future. What other advice might be helpful in winning a fight? Leave a comment and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this one.